I will tell you.
I can't tell.
We may be startings.
There it is. It says live.
Yeah, it does say live. Oh yeah, I can hear me. Mhm.
Isn't it already all plugged in? You don't have to do. You don't have to do anything. Oh, it's always on YouTube. Oh,
Well,
nice.
that's just because you're American. Yeah.
We're gonna do this
Good
live.
good luck everybody else. Although
Uh,
I am sad though because I want my list to include Sterngard because I painted them and they look so pretty.
the new ones.
The new
You can't.
Sterngard.
Well, you can't use the old ones.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
Sterngard.
Primaris Stern. It's not. We're not. We're not called Primaris anymore. Sterngard.
It's just Sterngard.
Yes.
Yeah. They have that. Yeah, that's what they are. They're Sterngard veterans, but
They're
their
just not
classification is
firstborn.
not. Yeah, the classifications are now by armor type. They're not by firstborn or Primaris.
Yeah. I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I think ultimately, the most important thing is that I can bring Sterngard and drop pods if I want to. That is the most important thing.
Yes, you can put a lot of drop pods now, which I don't have anymore.
If
Not
knights
bitter.
get
Bitter, not
if
bitter.
knights become less of a threat, then I'm gonna do double drop pods of grav devs and double drop pod or and then a drop pod of double Sterngard because they are lit.
Hold
Uh,
on.
John,
Everyone has Space
when
Marines,
are you
even the shitty
controversial?
players.
Don't go out of character.
Whoa. I don't know why you got to call out Tom like that. Are we start? Does that mean we're starting the show already? Well, I am.
I mean that
See,
that
you just
for
gave Tom the hand.
yeah you did. I mean
I know. I see it on the. Tom was saying it too. Yeah. See, Tom was saying it right now too. I think it's because Tom blends into the wall behind him.
I do. If I go back too far, I'll just disappear. Yeah, I got some sun over the weekend. I turned pink because of my fair white Irish skin. So I could have just a regular old burn or melanoma for all I know.
Oh, I could not get confirmation about that card thing, but one person that did buy the card said that there is the backing on one of his cards is not correct. The backing is the problem. The backing of a couple of the cards are the wrong. It's the wrong image.
Oh shit.
Another person, and then one of the other guys just said, just use the battle zap and you'll be fine. It's just battle zap, or I don't know. Oh, tabletop battles. That's what it is. Tabletop, not the ITC battles app. No, it's just Goonhammer app. No longer. They bought it first and then they sold it.
No.
Sure.
I mean, yes.
Wait, John, what should I put together? 15 millimeter samurai, or my Gundam uh, goof custom goof or Gauf? I don't know how to pronounce
Which one made John wince more?
it. It's where is it at? It's this one.
Ooh, that one's pretty. That's pretty cool.
I don't know. There's custom games for the models, since people want to play with the models a lot of the
I
time. So I'm
guess
thinking of
build in whatever order you choose. Build the one that you're probably going to actually play with soonest, and or
so yeah. So neither of them.
okay, then build the one that pisses John off the most.
Oof. For samurai game. There's
Yeah,
a
it's
bunch.
called Samurai Game.
There's some older ones that are not as sensitive as the current rule sets out there. So there's one called Samurai Night Fever. If you put the back banners on, yes, they're not that different in terms of the armies. Yes, that's one of the armies you can play. There's one
Which
rule set that's very. You can. They
which
do
one?
make models of him.
Which one of them? Which one of
Probably,
them
depending on how
is
you paint him.
which one of them is the Tom Cruise one? I want to play that guy.
God, get out! Why you guys ruin the moment? No. Danny Janeski said he would paint them for me. The samurai. I just need to get. Maybe I could probably find one. It'd be like maybe, or it'd probably be like $300-400, even at. Well, we have a lot of those, so that's a very high bar.
And for some reason they're usually our most downloaded ones. So
See, Kim's what I'm talking about.
oh, let me check.
I don't know. Samurais with powder blue armor and high collars.
Okay, I don't think anybody on the YouTube was able to hear me for the last 6 or so minutes, so that's good that we didn't start the show.
Yeah, no one can hear you.
Awesome.
I cannot hear you.
They're going to be there. You should be able to hear me now. That's going to be
Check.
great. All that conversation out of context.
It'll be fine. Good thing we didn't start the show officially.
Yeah.
Did you confirm, Tom, if you can hear him?
I did confirm.
Cool.
Which means that if you're listening right now, all two of us on the stream. We do
What you
this for
missed
the
was
stream
John
members.
being upset that I had to choose between building samurai, 50mm samurai, or my Gundam.
Oh, 50 millimeter?
15, 1-5.
Okay. Okay.
What you think I meant?
I heard 50 this time,
Yeah.
50.
No, 1-5.
And I was going to call the
They're
weed
fighting
police.
against people who have 50 mils.
And I was going to text your wife and tell her
They
to
are.
check your hard drive for hentai.
It's art.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's under the folder called art.
Yes.
Oh my god, I hate
secure
you
folder.
both so much. The secure folder on the phone.
Yeah.
All right,
I feel
let's
I
start.
feel like this always happens to you, John. It's Danny Ruiz is like the Harambe of our TFG podcast universe, and when he's not here, you're just like, damn it, Pandemic Tom and COVID Adam ruining my shit.
This is not far from the truth. All right, ready?
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of TFG Radio. As you can hear, it's Adam once again, feeling much better than last time. Tonight we have Tom,
Hello.
and we have, as you can see, otro Tom, otherwise known as John, on the Wheels of Steel.
You were sick last
Back
show?
from his, yes, I would. Thanks to Atlantic City and being in Atlantic City,
Concord, huh?
all day flights. It was not a pretty.
I mean, that's also just a general effect of going to New Jersey. So
I gotta try to avoid that next weekend because then I fly out the next weekend for France.
Oh my God.
I don't want to be sick on the plane to France. That would suck.
finally getting
Yeah,
that Napoleon Bonaparte reenactment going.
No, No.
You missed the Waterloo reenactment by about a week, I think.
Did I? I'll actually be in Paris for the end of the, what's that thing with the bicycles?
Oh, the Tour de France.
Yeah, yeah.
France.
I'll be there
I
at the
thought you
end
were gonna
for the end
ask
of the
about
Tour
the
de France.
I was like, did they schedule the riots to end by then? That's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, if they're still going on, I'm totally going to go out and be part of those riots. Are you kidding me? I want to experience what it's like to be in a real riot. A real protest.
Also,
Yeah, I can tell you how. Yeah,
Real
I
protest.
can tell you about one of those.
I want to watch a French fireman light themselves on fire and walk towards the police.
Oh man,
I am fire.
I'm going to live stream it on Threads.
I know.
On my new Threads account. Follow me on Threads. Twitter's dead.
That's what everyone.
Long live Threads.
Oh, here we go. Well, I mean, I did download it.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. You can follow me.
I'm going to do what I always do and just rely on people to send me screenshots and or links, so I don't ever have to feel like I need it myself.
Like a man of culture?
Yep.
No. That's fair. I'm just going to wait for the things to be posted onto Facebook like I do with TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm looking up Osaka Castle models.
Our Jesus, I wasn't serious, dude. Our shirts are all diverse. We have
They're
Star
different.
Wars, Game of Thrones, and Adams is probably some stupid ass boomer shit.
It is. It says my favorite childhood memory is my back not hurting.
You know what I like about the fact that the yeah, I don't care what your shirt says. This show's about me. You know what I like?
When do you go on vacation?
Not soon enough for you. You know what I like about the fact that the Game of Thrones show is popular again? I can wear all my old T-shirts again and not feel like an asshole because season 8, everybody's forgotten about it.
You should wear a shirt that just says season 8 doesn't exist or didn't exist.
That's a good one. I should make that.
Mm-hmm.
Sell it on Redbubble. Profit. Make an entire $1.22. Not even tree fitty.
Look, dude, Malaysian kids got to eat too. Okay, you can't cut in on their margins.
Jesus. They're not giving them any of that money.
Side chats aside, it's been a very busy last few weeks.
Why? Did a new edition come out or something?
Well, there is that. We did talk a little bit about that last week. More importantly, we already got the GT packet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to call it. And then we got...
Call it whatever you want.
Well, it's a family show.
That actually matters for me because I have to go judge Tacoma in a week. Guess what? Whoever playing me is doing on Tuesday.
God.
We're going through that GT mission packet together.
So the GT mission packet came out. I'll talk about that first. Initial thoughts, it's fine, I guess. Some of we already have corrections, so if you have your deck, make sure to scribble some of the new corrections on 3 of the cards.
Mission packet
I
together.
don't even know if... whatever. It's typical GW.
Does someone
at
hear
this point.
pinging? Sorry, I'm really sorry, but does someone hear like pinging, like a motion detector?
I think it might be outside my door because I have it open because it's hot. Is it audible? I'll close it if they're like literally
I
hearing
can definitely hear it.
You guys are gonna
Sorry,
make me
man.
sweat. I just got back from the gym. That's why I was late. I'm gonna be all hot and shit. People suck.
Well, at least
See
you
what I
got
do
to
for the
flex
people?
about it.
Do you see what I do for the people?
Sweat.
I don't even like the people.
Work out so you can look good on camera. Okay, you can admit it now, Tom. You didn't hear anything.
I hope all you people are happy.
No, Adam, I actually did hear something. I'm not just
I didn't
trolling
hear
John.
anything.
No, there's like a security chirp next door because like the building that's finished, but it's not finished. So there's still a security thing out there, and it chirps all the time. And I think I've just become accustomed to it. That's why I didn't realize.
Oh, nah.
Yeah,
It's fine. I
it's
close the
light.
door. I'll swelter in my own heat. Whatever.
It's light, but the
Stew
part of
in
the
your own
reason it was
juices.
bugging me is because I've been playing Aliens Dark Descent, and it uses the Aliens motion tracker sound, and it's eerily close to that. So every time it was doing that, I'm like, why
Something
is there
coming,
motion?
something coming to kill me?
I was like, is there an alien drone nearby, or like, John, you about to die?
So they've already corrected 3 of the cards, deploy serval skulls behind enemy lines, and deploy teleport homer.
Now, is that a correction or is that an adjustment just for tournament play? That's what it looked
An
like.
adjustment for tournament play.
It says card updates.
Right.
Okay.
If you're playing with that packet, which you would do
Yes.
at a tournament. But
Yes,
on
that's
your
what I thought.
random Tuesday night game that's non-competitive, it's not an adjustment unless you're playing with the GT packet. Now, I
Yes.
assume, like with last edition, most people will play with that packet for the updates in our meta, but I don't know about other people.
Right.
You know, Billy Bob and William Robert, who are not the same person, playing in their basement, are going to use maybe not the GT mission packet, but
You never know.
you know, when they confer with themselves and play their game in their basement by themselves, they can play with whatever they want.
They may, only because it came with the box set that they bought.
Yeah, like if I was just going to play, like, hey, I have the cards, cool. Do you want to play with the revision? Nah. Let's just play with the cards as
correct
it
answer
is.
is the what?
Right.
Deploy serval skulls just has a note that the conditions are not cumulative. Deploy teleport homer just changes the amount of victory points you get for center of the battlefield. And behind enemy lines caps it as, it just adds an additional victory points if you're using the tactical missions as opposed to the permanent ones.
Hmm.
And then they give you the mission pool. Okay, I'm not going to be at LSO, but I'm helping getting ready for it. And it's already causing some issues with the ones we're using. We finally decided on which ones to use. But if for now anyway, we are just using it as written and not changing the sequence that they have, the primary mission and deployment. So
What do you mean by changing the sequence?
because for, like, let's say option A is take and hold primary, chilling rain mission rule, and deployment is search and destroy. But because there's so many different combinations you can do, sometimes you may not want that particular setup. But for now, we're just going to keep it as what the mission pack says instead of changing it. They also give terrain layouts, the suggested terrain layouts for it, but we're ignoring that because we're using player place terrain.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do that if you're GW and can afford to make all your own terrain. Like, they're cool,
And
they're great. Like, and like if you have enough terrain and enough acrylic to like do a version of it, that's awesome. But realistically speaking, I don't. Even with the new one, like I didn't envision it last edition, being something viable for the average TO. I still don't view that as viable for the average TO. Like it's a really cool thing to have, but I don't think the average TO can do that.
yeah, and they show their layouts, and there's a lot more pieces, more sizable pieces from the looks of it.
Well, they got rid of the big 12x12s.
Right, and they got rid of the. Well, they only have, looks like 2 of the tiny ones, but they made them connect with one of the other pieces.
And I think what they did was they took the 12x12s and basically cut them in half. So now you
That's what
have
it looks like,
8 instead of 4.
Right.
I think. Don't quote me. I haven't been to
Don't
Tacoma
at me.
yet. And when I get back from Tacoma, we'll have to do a show that can't be Thursday because I fly out Friday. But we can do a show earlier in the week, and we can talk about Tacoma if you want. But
Okay.
I think that's what they did. It looks like that's what they did, kind of.
Okay.
I also have no insider information because I haven't talked to anybody about it. so don't at me on threads, okay?
Don't add them at the. They do make a note about the objective markers again. I have to check the core rules because I haven't really looked at it.
You're not allowed to.
Markers.
Yeah, they changed it for tournament
They changed
play.
it so you can put objectives on there.
They changed it so you can
Or in
stand
ruins?
on objectives.
Yes.
So in
No,
the
no,
current,
not that part. I'm talking about
Oh.
the objectives being inside of ruins.
What do they change about that?
I don't know. If
That
it's
I'm
kept
not
the
sure
same,
about.
then they're once again ignoring their own rule. So,
I mean, I think we should get used to the idea that, like, what's going to be allowed in the main rules and what's going to be allowed in the tournament rules from GW are two different things.
right.
Like, that's what it was all through last edition. It shouldn't shock people that, like, what you practice with for 3 weeks with your leaked rules is suddenly very different. Like, you should have known that was going to be different. Like, you should have known the nerf was coming to multiple things. You should have known the, like, Eldar weren't going to be allowed to use Fate Dice 800,000 times a turn. Like, it's just, you should have known
Ow.
stuff like that was coming. And it's the same for this. Like, you need to understand the core rules, the core missions will be changed. It will be different because they're balancing it differently for different things. And that's just the reality of how they choose to do it. You don't like it? Make your own $1 billion company or whatever and do it how you want. What do you want? What do you want from me?
I don't know. Respect, acceptance.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
I give you that. I play you on Tuesday nights.
That's true. But then
That-
again,
that's not respect. You just need a game.
I respect him all the time. When I beat him, I shake his hand.
God damn. Guy beats me once with Chaos Knights. Thinks he's a legend. This motherfucker.
I am always a legend in my own mind.
Hey, Chaos Knights is the weaker version, depending on what ruling you get
No.
for Imperial.
I
Knights.
think so. Yeah. Well, okay. Tangent. One, if Imperial Knights ruling wasn't that they could reroll all ones all the time for everything, yes. Two, we're gonna go back to my Space Marine argument, which I think people did not hear because you couldn't hear me. So earlier,
Oh, yeah.
prior to the show starting,
officially started.
I made the comment that the problem with the Space Marine win percentage isn't that Space Marines aren't good or strong, it's that everybody has Space Marines, so some really, really bad players play Space Marines.
I thought you had respect for Tom.
I think the average Chaos Knight player is not as good as the average Imperial Knight player.
Wow. Okay. Well, when
Again-
I reroll everything, it does help.
Everybody can find me on Threads. You can add me all you want.
You know, those Chaos Knight players would be real pissed at you if they knew how to listen to our podcast.
All 8 of them.
Well, I will say that I think that in the recent update to the points, and I know we're going a little off topic, unless you want to go back, Adam, to finish.
Adam didn't share show notes. Do what you want.
Yeah, it's just we're just kind of all over the place. It's fine. I can bring it back after.
I just think it's hilarious that John is like so adamantly like, but Adam didn't share the show notes when he also John refuses to read the show notes.
Or follow.
Yes, true.
Oh, I read them.
Yeah.
Fair
I
enough.
also like to make comments on the document.
So, anywho, I think with the recent points update, my hunch is that Chaos Knights have equaled out, if not surpassed a little bit, Imperial Knights, simply due to the fact that the War Dog selection
Way better.
for Chaos Knights is fantastic and has not been priced up at all.
Dude, the Brigands are
Meanwhile,
nuts. Remember in our game?
Brigands are fucking good.
2+
I should have
ballistic
been killing-
skills. Good.
I should have just basically been like, I'm gonna feed you infantry units to stop your big melee knight, and I'm gonna kill all your dogs, and then
Yeah.
Gilliman will come in and punch your knight in the dick, and then it'll be good.
Yeah.
Like that's
But
what
the
I should have done.
Castigator giving out what is it? Sustained hits 1
God, I hate
to
that thing so
Brigands
much.
and Hell and they're called Helverins for Chaos, but whatever. That's super good.
That is so damn good.
I think the other problem with Chaos players in general is Chaos players in general tend to be very aggressive players.
In terms
And
of playstyle?
Play style and Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
You're not running them forward to assault stuff. You're just not doing it. Like that's not what it's supposed to be. And everybody's like, I'm gonna run all my dudes forward with their claws and their chain swords and blah blah blah. Like, I don't think that's the play. And in general, my experience, with the exception of Death Guard players, is anybody who plays Chaos is extremely aggressive. Like, Carmona's an aggressive player. Danny's an aggressive player. Like, think of anybody who's a non-Death Guard player. They play pretty aggressive. Even Adam, you're an aggressive player.
Yeah, that tracks.
Because it's death to the Emperor, and like everybody just wants to run forward and kill themselves upon the gates of the Eternity Gate.
Well, I
sacrifice themselves in the pyre.
It's very difficult. It's been very difficult for me to make a list that's not like melee oriented.
Yeah, and that's not the name of the game in 10th at all, I think.
Not yet.
Yeah,
anyway.
that's why.
No.
It's funny because my list is similar to Tom's, except there's no indirect fire on my list.
Does Chaos have access to it?
Like I said, our only access is the Obliterators, and it's once per game.
That's what I was going to say. I didn't think you had access to anything else.
It's range 24.
Because your indirect Whirlwind Scorpiuses were legended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Along with my drop pod.
And you can't get no Thunderfire Cannon.
Nope, because that's been legend too.
Which it hasn't been for Space Marines. Which
because for Chaos, it wasn't the Thunderfire Cannon, it was the battery thingy.
It was the rapier.
The
other option was the
phraseology.
Was the Land Raider the one with the Achilles? I think it's the Achilles.
Yeah, with the Thunderfire Cannon and built into it.
Yeah. And also had an invulnerable save.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
No, I don't know, but now I'm depressed.
I think ultimately, talking about aggressive Chaos players, I think part of the reason for that.
No, the original topic was the tournament pack.
No, I'm not going back to that yet.
No, we're going.
Because
Tom already mentioned that the
I'll
objective
come
changed
back.
so that you could actually walk on the objective, which was hilarious.
Oh, hey, look, I got a new follower on Threads.
Is it Kim?
No, I don't know this person. I think it's a thought.
It's a thought. So what, they try to hit your DMs up with erotica? Like, I don't know how.
Yeah, it happens on Instagram all the time, actually, because I have a public profile on Instagram. So it happens all the
also
time.
called sex work. That's basically it. They give the how they do their pairings and their rankings, which is similar to how we do it since LVO. And which is similar to how Nova did it. So it makes sense that they do it that way.
I was correct.
About
the thought.
Oh. Okay.
Nice.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I wish you both the best.
No, not happening.
At the same time that they dropped the pack, they also had the index erratas. Nothing changed really much on mine. It just added a few things. That's about it. But nothing major. Tom, was there anything changed index-wise, not points-wise? We'll talk about points in a little bit. Anything for Space Marines?
No, nothing in terms of like rules.
Yeah, they didn't nerf Oath at the moment at all.
No, they didn't touch. Well,
because the win rate is fine, everybody. Down by
not to mention which, it's very easy. It's very easy to screw up using G-Man's double Oath of Moment. And
no, you've never done that.
Oh, you kidding? I absolutely have done that. And I know you're trolling me right now, but I will say that out loud in a spirit of honesty and podcast collaboration. Fuck you, John. Meanwhile, I think actually one of Gilliman's greatest strengths of that whole Master of the Codex ability is I can have now a chance to use the same stratagem 3 times. That's amazing. Depending on how you compose your list. It's just nuts.
Speaking
Like you
points,
can double Overwatch. You can double Overwatch with Gilman. So amazing.
You can double Overwatch Gilman.
Because
you can.
Once per turn, not round, like the Captain's Rights of Battle, you can select a unit within 12 of him, and that unit gets to use a stratagem for 0 CP, even if another unit has already been selected for that stratagem.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you can Overwatch twice, because Overwatch is a strat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now they're saying 3 because it's Gilliman, and then the Captain also does it.
The Captain also has a Rights of Battle. So you could have somebody Overwatch, pays 1 CP, Gilliman overwatches him for another unit for free. Captain's unit can overwatch for free also.
Can
The
I take a
problem
Valiant
is-
and make the Valiant overwatch 3 times?
No.
No.
Then I don't care.
The problem is that if you use one of the free ones first, you can't then use the paid version of the CP.
Right.
So like, that's when
You must pay the toll. You must pay the piper first.
You have to pay
Yes.
first and then use the free.
Yeah, otherwise you only get one, max 2 free uses.
No, it would only be one because you have to pay.
No, so
don't-
so the idea is you have 3 potential units. One of them has to pay. One's free because of the captain. One's free because of Gilliman.
Right.
But if you
have to pay first.
No, because you can select in both the captain and Gilliman's. It says you can use the CP for free, even if another unit has been selected for it. But the problem is that once you use those 2 free instances, your third guy, who's way the hell away, can't then use the stratagem because it's already been used, and he doesn't have a rule allowing him to use it again. So Gilliman gives Overwatch to whatever he gives. Captain Overwatch's third random guy over there can't pay 1 CP to use Overwatch because all of a sudden now it's been used, and by rules is written still, he can't use it.
I don't
Yeah,
know about
it says it
to
says
look
it's
at it.
what you get to use it for one you've already paid for.
Yeah, you have to
or
already
even-
pay for it.
No, it doesn't say already paid for, even if it's been used this turn. That's the stipulation. You get to use it for free, and you get to use it even if somebody's already used it. So
Right.
if Gilliman does it once, the captain can do it because the captain has the same rule.
But you
except
can't
it's
pay
once
for
per
it.
round. In both instances, they're free, and in
Right.
both instances, they say even if
Yes.
another unit has unit. The third unit
Yeah,
cannot use it, even
No.
if he pays for it.
right, because it's already been used.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, because it doesn't have the.
Yeah. Correct. And rules lawyer.
And person who read my own codex once for this, this time.
Correct.
Although
So
sad
we
face.
also got the points since Tom mentioned it a little bit. Tom, nothing happened to Chaos except for the King of Beers, and nobody cares.
Yeah. And then meanwhile they said, King of Beers and World Eaters, you can extra go fuck yourself.
I literally think they
attack.
just control F searched towering and said plus 60. And then they're like,
That's what a
oh, the
lot
King
of
of
it-
Beers is bigger, so it should be more. So plus, 140
Yeah.
or whatever they did.
How's that junk in his
But the
drum?
problem is that the World Eaters King of Beers is more points than the Chaos King of Beers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
I mean, no comment.
Sounds about right.
I plead the fifth.
For Space Marines, Desolators got a points increase. So once again, I am validated by not chasing that meta.
Desolator should have been
legend.
legend to change my mind.
Then the other
I actually
thing that
haven't
got
faced
hit-
them yet. Nobody around here plays them.
I did in the big GT we had not too long ago at
In
Gameology.
April.
Yeah, and those boys, in 9th at least, they were damn good. But
Well-
now I think with the points adjustment and the rules adjustments, I think they're nice to have, or if you're building a certain way, they're good to have. But they're not auto take, regardless of your list style.
No
Not
more
anymore.
auto include. Sad face.
What are you talking about? Rules adjustments? There were no rules adjustments.
Well, going from 9th to 10th, the
Oh,
way that the
I
rules
thought you
Yeah,
meant the-
because he was talking about using them in 8th first. Or 9th, I mean, first.
The only rules
Yeah.
adjustments was to Strands of Fate.
No, I
Yes.
know that. Yes. Yes.
No, he's
Even
not
The
then-
talking
only-
about
even
that.
then, that's not. I don't know
I'm
if
talking
it's
about
enough.
addition change, like rule change.
Okay, we're
the-
past that, Tom.
Jesus. There are no show notes. You don't get to do that. If you're not going to be, if you're going to be lazy and not make any show notes, you don't get to
Well, I
move
can
it
do whatever I
along
want.
via
I
like
do what I want.
I do
authority.
not get not paid enough for this. I swear to God.
You'd have a better
True
argument,
story.
Tom, if you were actually running the stream again.
That's true, because at that point you have to be. Yeah, I'm holding you hostage. That's why you've been really nice to me these last 3 episodes.
Because he's been running the episodes, yeah.
How did I just put that together?
So Tom, it doesn't really change your list, right? That you've been looking at.
The big
Just for the
change for me
whirlwinds?
was the whirlwinds are now 150 instead of 125 because of the indirect fire price hike,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I was able to adjust it. Basically, it took away enhancements I was buying for basically with those points. So I made it work in my main Space Marine list that I'm running. So kind of annoying, but I was able to work with it. Because for me, the way, if anyone's curious, the way I'm building my list is to be able to maintain engage or around the board presence via infiltrators, and then have just an ungodly amount of armored firepower to deal with knights. And if I run up into MSU, great, like Custodes, that'd be awesome. If I run into a giant green tide, I am screwed.
I think Custodes are like a really good army right now.
They're up there,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
I think that like a couple of guys really have them figured out, and I think once some more people catch on, I think Custodes are actually pretty solid right now.
Yeah, I also heard something surprising, like that Gene Stealers are actually, or GSC are actually in a similar boat of like, they're actually a lot better than people think they are.
I'm gonna press X for doubt.
No, because the last couple weeks, the top 3 armies have been Genestealer Cult, Eldar, and Knights.
I don't like it. I don't.
Apparently, you didn't press F hard enough, John.
I don't. Well, I said X first of all.
I swear I heard
So
you
maybe
say
I
F,
pressed
sure.
the
No,
wrong
said
button.
X.
Perhaps I pressed the wrong button, but I was referencing the PlayStation X for doubt.
Yeah.
Not
I
F.
know, I know
mean,
the
F
old
is close
LA
by the
Noir
X,
meme.
so
Yes.
close enough.
Well, I don't like it if Gene Stealer Cult are good. I'm just saying that right now.
Those Gene Stealer people. would
I've
be
always
really angry
found
if they
Gene
listened to our
Stealer
podcast.
Colts a really annoying army to play against.
Yes, and even more so now.
Gene Stealer Colt and Dark Eldar. I've never liked playing against. I've had a couple of enjoyable games with Dark Eldar players. Oh man, I can't remember his name. He's got a podcast also. Super nice dude. Crap. Oh man. Anyways,
Local to us or
no, well he always goes to Barry Open. He wears the purple shirt, and the purple shirt's got like the gold chain thing on it, like his team jersey. I don't know.
I know who you're talking.
Yeah, super awesome dude. Like one of my best games ever getting my ass kicked was against that guy.
Okay.
And he's playing Dark Eldar. But I've always found Dark Eldar and Genestealer Cult really annoying armies to play against. Because you often get the feeling like, wait, you can't do that. Oh, no, my army rule lets me break all of these other rules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
the only reason I don't like playing against Gene Stealer Cults is because of my own laziness to read how their damn codex works, or their index or anything. I think it'll be easier now that all the indexes are free, and I'm like, okay, well I can go read it if I really want to prepare for something. But yeah, I get that feeling. The only reason why I've never not liked it is because, generally speaking, and I'm not talking about local players, and there is a local player that we know that played a lot of Gene Stealer Cult, so I'm not talking about him. But there are a number of games where I'm going up against Gene Stealers, and because of the way my list is designed, I'm just like, oh, this is not going to be a problem as long as I screen out the aberrants. Like, okay, just make sure they don't come too close, then murder bait them, and then just continue killing the rest of everything. Dark Eldar is the one where I've either lost at the last second or lost pretty handily right out the gate, or had to really fight to survive because they've like glass cannon, but definitely emphasis on the word cannon too.
Somebody in
At
the
least
chat
it was
wants to
before.
know where the good-looking host is. Blown up by fireworks yesterday, maybe?
He's in the top right corner. If you're looking at the screen.
Oh, yeah, okay, buddy.
Eye of the beholder, buddy.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, that was Danny asking that question. And Danny is off in the boondocks somewhere. I'm surprised he has internet.
Well,
He
he's
probably
a
stepped away to get
he
internet.
learned how. I mean, he's he knows how to survive out in the bush. Like basically, if you take a squirrel rib cage and attach it to the top of an elk, and then it just put some metal on there, you get a Wi-Fi signal.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was how he did it.
Or he's like hijacked some Tesla on the side of the road with mobile Wi-Fi, and the guy's like, "What are we listening to?" And it's like, "Dude, just let it end, and then I'll walk out this car." We don't have to have a problem here.
So we're only a couple weeks into the new edition, and we already have, I guess, a fun story
Oh, boy.
Yay.
regarding someone cheating.
Oh, the weighted dice story?
Yeah, he was using weighted dice, even though he was playing Eldar.
I mean, come on, bro.
Got caught,
Dude,
and
that's like even
and
worse.
You have
basically
to
tried-
cheat to win with Eldar. You are, I am sorry, sir, pathetic.
and apparently tried to get rid of the evidence by flushing it down the toilet as if they were drugs.
Which is just an admission of guilt. Can we talk about that for a second? Like, if you,
Yes.
if you go, like, if somebody is accusing you of having loaded dice, and you run to the bathroom and throw your dice in the toilet and attempt to flush them, that is an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
What are you even trying to do? No, you can't float my dice. Why? Because I flushed them down the toilet. Why would you do that? So you couldn't float them. Why would you not want me to float them? Well, because I'm clearly guilty. Yes.
See, this
Thank
is
you.
why I flush my dice at every tournament I go to put the standard out there that I just do that as ritual.
No,
Therefore,
that's because
you'll
your
never
dice
know.
always screw you over. You know who
That's
needs to
true.
flush their dice down the toilet?
Danny.
Danny.
Danny. Fuck your dice, Danny.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyways, keep going.
I'm more disappointed that he didn't just like put more effort into it, because the TO was able to get the dice that were in the toilet
Out of the toilet.
out
Oh,
of the
God.
toilet. He took a picture, and the,
Oh my
the
God.
bowl was very clean.
I just had this image of him trying to flush all of the dice down the toilet, and it gets clogged, and they all come up, and it's just sixes.
So after fishing them out of the
Oh
toilet,
my God.
they then tested the dice.
I mean, you wouldn't have to. It was just there floating in the fucking toilet.
Why did the dude...
Looks like a turd in 46s, Jim.
Why did the dude fish them out of the toilet?
He needed the evidence. That's
I
why I
don't-
said if you're gonna go to that extreme, you may as well go all in. And
John,
drop
the
a
answer is
load
because
on
that's what heroes do.
It seems
Just in
very
case.
unnecessary to fish them out of the toilet.
That's what heroes do, John.
Apparently, I'm not a hero.
it. No one's ever accused you of that, John. Don't worry.
Yeah, I never got that Warhammer Hero Award. Do they even do that anymore?
No,
Nah.
no. Once COVID hit, they stopped doing it.
No.
Yeah.
That's why
Plus,
Jason,
there's
I don't even know if Jason ever got his. Because Jason Horn was supposed to get one that year at Adepticon.
He'll always be a Warhammer hero in my heart.
Yes.
Well,
after that,
it could also just be the rule. What is it? The two-face rule. You know, better off to die a hero than live yourself long to see to become the villain. You know, that whole thing.
That's Batman, right?
yes,
Well, I don't know if
Christopher,
I thought
Christopher
Two-Face said
Nolan
it.
Batman, right?
yes,
Not
That movie.
Robert Pattinson Batman.
no.
Not Batfleck Batman.
You're asking some real boomer questions. I mean,
Batfleck Batman. Batfleck Batman is the best Batman. Fight me.
No, it's not. Get out of here.
I would rather watch old man Batfleck Batman all day long than
So-
watch another reboot. Like, let
Well,
the
now-
superheroes get old and tell that story. Like, why reboot Henry Cavill? Just have Henry Cavill play the fucking Superman from Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come is one of the greatest storylines of all time.
I agree. And instead, they got Wish version of Henry.
Oh my god, the dude looks just like Henry Cavill, but younger.
Yes, I know.
It's so stupid.
Henry Cavill at home.
Yeah, we have. Hey, Mom, can we have Henry Cavill? No, we have Henry Cavill at home. Like, seriously, it's so stupid.
Cheaper.
You know who else would have
mean-
been great to do Kingdom Come with? Brandon Routh. Like, I know people hated the movie Brandon
How
Routh
does
did.
he look now?
He's old. Well, he's older, obviously.
Right.
He
Oh,
was in
wasn't
an
he in
episode. So
the-
he was in an episode
Flash?
of the new Superman show, whatever the new Superman show is. What is that one called? It's on TV.
It's
not-
something in Lois, isn't it?
No, Superman and Lois was like the one with Dean Cain.
Right, but the one now is called, I think, is Adventures of Superman. and Lois.
Sure,
The other
whatever.
one was just called.
So they had an episode where there was like a multiverse thing going on, right? Because everybody's got to do
Yeah,
that.
he
now.
was in there.
He was in it,
Did he?
and he was in it with the black and red S from Kingdom Come, and the
Was
slightly
he a
grayed
was he a
hair.
farmer?
No, but he's in the suit and he's got like slightly gray hair on the side, and so like you're like, oh man,
Oh yeah, so
he would be great as older Superman in Kingdom Come, or Cavill would be great as the older Superman in Kingdom Come too in like a couple years. Like,
Yeah.
why keep rebooting all these stupid things over and over and over again? Stop it! I don't want to watch another origin story for the same. Like that's why I like the Marvel movies. They just kill people off and keep going.
For some reason, DC likes to like ruin.
No, you know what the problem is? Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is a terrible
Yes.
studio that doesn't ever know what it's doing and doesn't have an identity and doesn't know what like. Whatever. I'm done. I'm never gonna watch that stupid Flash movie. Fuck that.
What? You don't want to see the return of Clooney Batman?
No, and I don't want to see stupid Nick Cage as Superman, who never even got to play Superman, but let's shove him in there anyways. And I don't want to see stupid CGI recreated Christopher Reeves.
George Reeves.
George Reeves. George Reeves, who killed himself because he hated that role so much. Yeah, please, let's re-immortalize him for a role he hated.
You know they released that film on the anniversary that he committed suicide.
I know.
Fuck, I had no idea about any of that.
Every time I think things can't get worse, I'm like, you know what? I think we're kind of in Gilded Age 2.0. and
100 years later,
and a lot of people are gonna get what's coming to them. I think that's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm not gonna go there.
Yep.
To answer your first question, the best Batman's Kevin Conroy, and I think we can end it at that.
Okay.
Okay, live action, not you're
not
wrong.
No, he's not wrong at all. This is rare that everybody agrees with Tom, but everybody agrees with Tom.
Followed up by whatever his name was in Batman Beyond, because Batman Beyond was fucking sick.
Wasn't Conroy the voice of old Batman in that too?
Yep.
Yes.
But then, you're talking about the young Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good too. That's fine.
Man.
I don't know if it's followed up by, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Adam disagrees with it. I mean, it means I'm right.
No, it means you're wrong. You youngins don't know.
You mean you're wrong.
Okay, nice retort.
You get your retort.
Well, feels like I'm in the classroom again.
There you go. You never left. So I'm assuming the player got banned from the event. So, and I believe the store, which is called Element Games, framed the dice.
Yes.
With the little story.
Nice. So great.
In the frame.
That is so good. I love that. I love that they did that.
Kim is saying Pete Holmes is the best Batman. And if it's who I think it is, that just makes me sad. It just means I'm old.
I don't know who that is.
I think it's the Batman from the 40s movie serials.
They had movie and pictures in the 40s?
Yeah, they actually did a set of serials of Batman adventures in the
Interesting.
40s.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
He says Kim says that they framed the dice and mounted them over the toilet itself.
Yeah.
Which fully in favor of that.
Because that's what heroes do.
Yes.
I'm just gonna keep saying that now.
So John, Tacoma's next week?
Yeah, not this weekend, next weekend. I leave Thursday night.
Alright. Excited?
Yeah, it'll be cool. It's always fun to do a GW event when I can. I couldn't do any last year. They were all on weekends I couldn't do, so I have no problem doing them. For anybody who was wondering why I didn't do any last year, I just couldn't. You know, I've got a job. Being a teacher is actually a fairly demanding job in terms of like not being able to take off work, so it makes it difficult.
So we'll see how it goes with the new terrain set, with the new terrain layouts, because I think they're using 3 of them, 2 of them.
I think it's
they
2.
Said anything. It's seeing how it goes and seeing what questions come up will also be good to know, because I did open the floodgates for LSO.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that.
Well, I get paid to do that.
It's true.
So once we get more questions, I'm afraid to look at the sheet actually. But I'll probably work on them this weekend, along with some of the other judges. Hopefully they're not all. So far, the ones I have seen seem pretty straightforward, but there's a lot of questions out there if you have been paying attention on the internet. So we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
For us locally, I think we're just waiting for Hammer Wrath next month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you have a ticket, go ahead and get one.
Looking forward to that. We do have a lot of prizes set up for it. I think. So I told Tom. I don't think I told you. I think I mentioned a little bit where I'm having issues with making my list, especially because I do play Chaos Space Marines, and I can't find my Thousand Suns, but they're in my garage somewhere.
Nah.
So I'm not playing Thousand Suns. I am trying to. It's funny because the list I was looking through was similar to what you were doing, Tom, with the Predator Annihilators, Obliterators, just for Deep Strike, and I did not. I dropped Abaddon.
Rude.
Originally, I wanted him because you can generate a CP every turn when he does his Dark Pact.
Mm-hmm.
It's not guaranteed. You have to roll 2+. But he's not as good in close combat as Ninth. So I'm just... And you have to attach him to either... It's funny because you can only attach him to either Terminators, which makes sense, or Legionnaires, which kind of makes sense, but I don't know why they didn't say Chosen instead.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed, is that there are a number of leader unit combinations that don't seem to make sense from just like a lore perspective, or like, this guy should be able to go with those things.
Yeah.
But then I've noticed you look at some of the rules and you're like, oh yeah, that's why. Because otherwise that'd be gnarly.
Why can't we have something that's gnarly? So currently the list I'm tinkering with is actually 2 Warp Smiths, because when they're near a vehicle, they get the known operative.
Same for Tech Marines.
Yeah. And you can, if you want, you can attach them to Havoc squads, which is kind of weird, but okay.
Huh.
And so I have that. I have 2 Predator Annihilators, 2 units of Havocs, the Obliterators, the 2 Hellbrutes, both with last cannons and close combat weapons, because I have to. And I took the Knocklith Crown.
The terrain piece?
It's a fortification.
The terrain piece?
Yes.
Cool. Why?
Bees?
Which, if you're outside of 12, they're -1 to hit for some weird reason. And more importantly, all units within 9 inches have a 4-up invulnerable save. It's basically to save my Predators.
Yeah.
And Havoc squads.
That's pretty damn good, because I don't get that. But then again, I get Ballista Shreds, so.
I also took a unit of 10 Warp Talons, just to try them out. If they're in combat and someone wants to fall back, they have to take a desperate breakout test. If they're below half, they have a -1 to that test. So, and I also took Raptors because I'm trying the Harkon World Claimer, which I never thought I'd say, which is the special character from the Vigilus campaign, the guy with the jump pack and the giant spear. So he has a special rule that at the end of the battle round, or at the end of the fight phase, all units within 6 inches. Every model takes a test, and on a 4-up, they take a mortal wound.
That's not
So I think it's when he charges. I can't remember now. I should look at my cards. They're right here.
bad. Oh yeah, I need to get some of those.
But I never looked at rules before, so I don't know why I'd start now. So I just want to try him out with the unit of Raptors, because that's the only unit he can go with.
Weird, he wouldn't be able to go with Warp Talons.
I know. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so that's the list now. I keep on changing it, but so we'll see how it goes. If I ever get to play. John, you're just sticking with the Knights?
Yeah, so I adjusted my list already that I like. And so basically all I had to do was remove one War Dog Huntsman, and I got down to 1975.
Nice.
So instead of having 3 War Dog Huntsmen, I have 2 War Dog Huntsmen, which are the guys with the Demon Breast Spear and the Chain Talon. In other words, they're Armigers. Warglaves. Armiger Warglaves.
Yep.
And then I have 3 War Dog Executioners, otherwise known as Helverins. 2 War Dog Brigands. Those are the ones with the Chain Cannon and the Demon Breast Spear, the big melta gun. Those are the guys that are Ballistic Skill 2+. They're like,
okay.
they're really good, and they're only 150 points, which is pretty good. So I'm considering maybe dropping a Huntsman for another one of them, but we'll see. Then I have a Knight Despoiler with double battle cannons, and 3 heavy stubbers, which is actually when you have it's actually a lot of shots. We found out in my game with Tom. The Knight Despoiler is really good at like shredding infantry. Okay. And then I have a Cerastus Knight Castigator with the Castigator Bolt Cannon and the Tempest Warblade. That's the guy who gives out to everybody within 6 inches the sustained hits 1. And he also, because it's an aura, gives it to himself. So his Castigator Bolt Cannon is firing 12 or 14 or whatever shots as sustained hits 1. And then he's giving that out to the auto cannons, which is great, and the Brigands with their chain cannons, which is great. Like, you can fit every one of those war dogs within 6 inches of him if I want to on turn 1. So that's 7 war dogs. I can fit them all within 6 inches of them if I want to turn 1 for the shooting. So I like that a lot. It's simple. It's effective. The Knight Despoiler has Panoply of the Cursed Knights, so like it's in -1 whatever when you hit him.
Okay.
Other than that, I took no other enhancements. That's it. So.
Yeah, I haven't. I think I took the bell fight, the tome or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I almost feel like not using any enhancements because none of them seem very good to me, at least for Chaos.
Yeah, the Imperial Knight enhancements are better. The Chaos one, the Panoply of the whatever that I took, that's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, because like one is only good against units within 6 inches for me, and another one is the what's it called? The Liber Hereticus.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually 40 points, and basically when you do the Dark Pact, it allows you to get both the lethal hits and sustained hits. So, and then the Elixir I think is pretty good, the Slanesh one. But I haven't. I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest. So,
yeah. I feel like a lot of the index enhancements for many people are just kind of like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah, all the Elixir does is give a feel no pain, and an enemy unit has to take a battle shock test. So John, I spoke to Danny and Tom last week or last episode about their feelings so far. I'm curious what yours are because I know you were very adamant about waiting until it comes out before casting judgment.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts so far?
Castaway.
I mean, the core rules aren't that much different than Ninth. Like, what's different is the index rules, and like people just kind of have to get used to that. It's not going to be Ninth just because the core rules are very similar.
Yeah.
your pet army thing is not going to be what it was just because you want it to be again. Like, it is what it is, and there's going to be an adjustment period, and you really do need to wait for everything to come out, and you need to wait for points adjustments, and you need to wait for FAQs before you start buying a bunch of stuff. Like, that's just the reality. If you don't wait for stuff and you go buying a bunch of things because you're like, oh, this is so broken good, you're always going to get hit with the Nerf bat. So, I think in general it's decent. There's some things I don't like, but like there was things I didn't like about 9th, and there was things I didn't like about 8th, and there was a whole lot I didn't like about 7th and 6th. so, and I still played. So, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Overall, it's. I don't think that like they killed 40K with this edition or anything.
Oh no, no.
Are there people who are saying that?
There were,
I think in the beginning,
and there probably still are somewhere in their basements on Daka or wherever they talk.
I think the big thing for a lot of people was devastating wounds.
Sure.
I mean,
which we already had mortal wounds and stuff and mechanics to make them ridiculous, but okay.
Well, yeah, but not to the extent of like doing 12 or 2d6 or however many at once.
Are we sure about that? There's
sure
a lot of
about
mechanics.
that?
Yeah, there's a lot of mechanics for like mortal wounds in the psychic phase, and like and then roll, and you can use your special Thousand Suns dice or whatever, or you can like use a fate dice to change this thing, or like there was a lot of ways to really pump out a lot of mortal wounds. I don't want to hear any Thousand Sun player on this podcast telling me that there wasn't a way to get a lot of mortal wounds.
The most I could ever do would be if I maxed it out would be like 15 from one power.
From one power, 15,
which I've never done.
That's fine. That's still a lot.
That's not as much as Tyranids.
and how good are Tyranids? Let's ask Danny. Oh wait, he's not.
Well, I'm talking about in 9th. In terms of mortal wound output.
And even in 9th.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. So Tyranids could put out a ton of mortal wounds. Like there was a ton of stuff in 9th that put out lots and lots and lots of mortal wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people just like to complain.
But it's the internet. That's all it is.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll see how the Eldar thing. I think it's just the combination of everybody hating Eldar because everyone likes to hate Eldar. I think Eldar's still good. The other thing people are complaining about is towering. But I think at the store we have more line of sight blocking terrain than normal, or at least for our tournaments we do. Because we have the castle walls and stuff. But
that doesn't
John,
matter for towering. That's the whole point, right?
Huh?
I mean, that's the whole point. We have line of sight blocking terrain, but that doesn't matter for towering.
Well, it does if the actual line of sight is blocked, yes.
Yeah,
oh,
so like
yes,
I said, we have
yes.
the castle walls we could use. And they're pretty... It covers a pretty good area. But even if you have first floor line of sight blocking, there's still the second floor. So...
Right.
John, you since you play Knights, and Tom, you played against John already, so what are your thoughts in terms of just like towering in general?
I think it's a strong mechanic. I think that if you design your terrain to have first floor block line of sight, or you like put that into the rules so that you can literally just shove stuff up in there, it helps mitigate it. I don't think that towering is the reason why Imperial Knights have such a strong record. Imperial Knights have such a strong record because they have a 6-up feel no pain, and they are re-rolling all ones to hit and all ones to wound. It should be you re-roll.
If they're honored.
Yeah. You re-roll 1 to hit and 1 to wound.
Or change it from a 1 to a single die per round.
Yeah, because it says A.
Right. It does. Like,
That's
I'm
why.
sorry, Imperial Knight players. I disagree with you guys on this. I think that it's literally you re-roll a hit roll of 1 and a wound roll of 1. Not all.
Yeah.
And if you take that away, that army becomes not as good. Now, is it going to suddenly drop off to nothing? No, but it becomes a far more manageable thing. The bondsman abilities,
so good.
maybe a couple of them should be toned down a little bit, but I would rather see the change to the overall army rule of the reroll. Like, right. I think it should be FAQ'd to... I mean, I don't know why you have to FAQ it, because it's like right there in plain English.
You
but
don't,
sure.
But
right.
As we always know, people will read things to their benefit,
right,
and ignore the detriment.
Yeah.
We'll see if the question comes up for LSO. Because if the question comes up for LSO, I'll tell you right now, it's going to be 1, because that's how it reads. So, be prepared if you're taking knights to LSO. Just warning you now.
Yeah.
Like I said, GSE and Eldar are strong. I'm curious how this, for those events that are using the erratas for this coming weekend, there's a few that are out there. I'm curious what the results, if the results will change at all. It may not change, because Eldar historically have always been able to just adjust by using different units instead of the ones that were nerfed or fixed or whatever, however you want to call it. So, and like you just showed, John, with the knights, with even upping the points, you just had to drop one thing and you're already down to what your list is. So.
Yeah, I dropped one mini knight. Oh well.
Yeah.
And if you were running all mini knights already, you don't care.
Yeah. And Tom, how did your list change? You just dropped. What did you drop?
I dropped mini knight. So instead of having 3 big knights and 5 armigers, I had 4 armigers.
Wait, in your allied what?
Imperial Knights list. If I was doing Space Marines and an allied, if I was doing Space Marines and an allied knight, it sucks because, I mean, it's just a lot of points. I could take 3 Helverin maybe, but the thing that people have to remember is that when you take an allied unit, you cannot use the stratagems associated with their detachment, because
you get the army bonus.
No, I don't think so. Or maybe they do. Maybe they might have it. But like, for example, allied knights, like I think they have like free blade rules and they stipulate things. But like, let's say I take a Imperial Knight. I can't use rotate ion shields because rotate ion shields comes from Noble Lance. I'm not in a Noble Lance detachment. I'm in a Gladius Task Force detachment with an allied unit, which means I do not have access to the rotate ion shields. So that's like, for example, why I didn't even consider taking Canis Rex as an allied knight, because he has that ability where he gets to use a strat for free. Right. So like, that'd be nice, except he can't access that strat. So he gets to access one of the core stratagems that are available to everybody, which none of them really gives a shit about except maybe Overwatch.
Okay.
But ultimately, and when it came to building, when I was looking at my knights list, because I do have, it's one of those moments where I look back and I'm like, damn, I actually do have a lot of armies. And I was building a knights list. I was like, oh yeah, well, the only real change for this list that I have, just because I built it just to see what I could do, was, I just lose armiger, which is exactly what John said, except my list is Questoris heavy, his is armiger heavy.
Right. I kind of like the idea of allying in a knight again.
It's not a bad idea, and it's definitely a scary ass thing, especially if you pick the right knight. Like
a Crusader does work.
If you do a Crusader, or if you do a Gallant, because the Gallant's still decently cheap, and it is a big old like looming threat in your face. It is scary as hell.
Yeah,
you have to deal with it.
Also, the Valiant. I know I got a point hike, but sitting the Valiant in the middle of the board and overwatch anything that comes near me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, I mean that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And it still can use. And the only thing you care about with the Valiant
is Overwatch. And that's a strat you still get to use. You don't lose it
because it's part of the core access. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. I like the Valiant overwatching in the middle of the board is super strong. I like that a lot.
Thump.
I sold I sold all my knights except for the one. The only one I kept was the one you made from the Forge World pieces.
What?
So I could ally in a knight instead if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But it'd be battle cannon, Gatling gun.
Yeah.
I think that's the arms I have for it. So that's an option too.
Well, you can always use ours. We have double battle cannons.
You have everything.
I don't have a lot of the other weapons built in magnetized is the problem with those.
No. Something I remembered is that the GW also had the not Warhammer 40,000 preview,
That was funny.
which talked about Cities of Sigmar, which Danny likes some of the models, but who cares? It's Sigmar. Plastic Knights, John. More Plastic Knights.
Cool.
For Heresy.
Sure. As long as there's rules for them for 40k, that's fine.
And the Castigator. Warcry, who cares? Underworld, who cares?
Danny just listening in, like, look what they doing to my boys.
My feelings about this stuff is very well known. Warhammer Old World is funny because of the size of the guy on the horse. The standard bearer is just so tiny on the war horse, but what's funny is that it's more historically accurate, only because you had to be on sturdy horses in order to carry all that weight. So I find it hilarious. I'm kind of excited about that, but not really, because I probably won't play it, to be honest.
But there is, I think, one release you would play.
Oh yeah, this is the big announcement that we're turning into a epic 30K podcast.
Oh, why is John offline for that one? Why?
Because he knew what I was going to say.
Apparently, he read the tea leaves.
Yeah. So it's like the worst kept secret, because when they came out with the Aeronautica game, the planes just happened to be in the same scale.
Yeah.
As the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Just so happens.
Yeah. So welcome to our new podcast, John. I haven't thought of a name yet.
Why?
Little guys with big guns.
No.
I want that one.
No. I'm not
God's
a fan
Own
of any of
Scale is
this.
already-
I'm not playing
God's
Epic.
Own Scale is already taken.
Not playing Epic. Not doing it.
Micro Grimdark machines.
Okay, I did like the Micro Machines. I still have my Micro Machines. I gave them to Edwin when he was a kid. He loved Micro
I have my
Machines.
Star Wars ones. It does look like Micro Machines. It's hilarious. I guess it's supposed to represent, the starter box is supposed to represent like an allied force or whatever, but I would probably buy like 2 or 3 sets and just make 2 different armies with the Solar Auxilia and the Space Marines.
I just don't like it because it's Horus Heresy. Like,
Well,
I don't want to just play Solar Auxiliary or versus Space Marines, or Space Marines versus Space Marines, or Titans versus Titans. Like, I liked the original
Regular.
because there was Nids and Necrons and Eldar and like.
well,
Dude,
the original was Horus Heresy.
I don't want to
It
play
wasn't
Horus
until second
Heresy.
edition. No,
Why
it
do
was
I want to
late
play
first
miniature
edition.
Horus Heresy? Why do I want to play miniature Horus Heresy? When I don't want to play regular
So
miniature
cute.
Horus Heresy. Like, stop trying to make Horus Heresy work.
This is probably the only way it could work.
I mean,
So
sure,
just
but
the
like also,
resin.
why? I don't want to play. I just don't want to do it. Like
Are you
the
just,
books
are you
are
just mean girling it? Like, stop trying to make fetch a thing.
Yes.
Stop trying to make Epic Legiones a thing. Like,
that I was hoping somebody would get the reference,
I did.
but
Uh,
like who I don't know.
I don't know. To be honest,
What's the number one complaint people have about going to tournaments when Space Marines are good? Everybody's playing Space Marines, and all I get to do is play Space Marines on Space Marines. Like, it makes for a great, compelling storyline in the books. You know, Primarch against Primarch, brother against brother, the fracturing of the Imperium, and like, you know, Civil War is great. But one of the reasons why Civil War games suck is because it's...
You mean the
only two playable factions?
Yeah, it's Unions and Confederates. Cool. Like, it's two playable factions. Like, oh, all right. Like, Napoleonics are even better because you've got the French and the Prussians and the British and the Russians, and like, you can... Hell, you can throw in some like random Turks or whatever. Who cares? But like, there's other stuff going on, right? It's just Space Marine Legion against Space Marine Legion,
and like, you understand how popular Civil Wars are.
I understand how popular Civil Wars themselves are, but not the miniatures.
The World War II, I think, is the most popular, and then it's followed by Napoleonics, and then both English and American Civil War.
Sure. Followed behind the two other great historical miniature games. World War II is always going to be first. It's the most dynamic.
Well, it's also the most recent.
Napoleonics is going to be second because World War I is terrible as a miniature game.
Just haven't written good rules yet. Just
no.
saying. Once I release my game, you'll know.
No. What should really be third, and it just doesn't exist yet. What really should be third is a good naval combat game. But the problem with that is it'd be ship of the line because we haven't had any good naval combat that's not ship of the line. People don't want to play ship of the line. People want to play World War I dreadnoughts and battleships or World War II, but World War II is dominated by aircraft. So like, what am I going to do? Put my aircraft carriers over here, and you put yours over here, and I have battleships and stuff too, but like our aircraft just fly over and kill each other. Like nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do this.
Most people, most game companies, when they have a naval game, it's always like, it's either Napoleonic, it's ship of the line, but it's Napoleonic, or it's Age of Pirates.
Yes. Oh, and like that's why Dystopian Wars was pretty popular, because it gave people what they wanted. They wanted dreadnought class battleships fighting other battleships, right? Which never got to happen in World War I, really, because the Jutland was a joke. Right, like it's just and like nobody's gonna like want to redo the Straits of the Bosphorus Straits, right? Where the English all gets debacled because they won't follow what Churchill wanted.
Right.
So like nobody wants to do that, but Dystopian Wars is popular because it gave people who wanted that kind of naval combat what they wanted. So, anyways. Yeah. The fact that the English Civil War and the American Civil War are third and fourth in terms of historicals, yeah, because the two good ones are already number 1 and 2, and everything else sucks.
Napoleonics is mainly because I think it's driven more by the English because they make a lot of the war games.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, also Napoleonics is very colorful.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
And then World War II, I think, recent history, and it's world spanning. So.
But it's dynamic, whereas World War I is not dynamic. You're stuck in trenches.
Even though World War I was also world, it wasn't as inclusive, I guess, as World War II.
See, the point I'm trying to make is that the game itself, because the war itself is more interesting. World War I is only interesting to people who are really into history. World War II is interesting to people who are miniature gamers who are more like tangentially related. Like everybody knows a little bit about World War II, right?
Because they had a relative that fought.
Rather, a relative that too, but like also it is a dynamic game. You have multiple different forces, multiple different types of tanks. Things moved a lot. Things happened fast.
Yes.
Napoleonics, you can make the same argument. Well, the battles themselves, you have the cavalry charges and stuff. And so because it was a smaller scale for the battle, it seems like it moves faster, right? But also, you didn't get bogged down. American Civil War even has that too a little bit, depending on the time period you're going to run. It might have that, like, oh, we're a little bogged down type of thing going on. But, like, that was because of the changing technology at the time. English Civil War is just, yeah, like you pointed out, because the English are the primary miniature players.
I don't get it, but whatever. I don't. My favorite is World War One, but that's more just the conditions and the historical aspect of it. I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah. So I'll probably get the box sets, at least paint up the Marines. To be honest, the Solar Auxiliary doesn't really do it for me, but my brother likes Imperial Guard, so I'll probably give.
I mean, I'd rather just buy Titans and run my Titans, whatever.
Oh, I have Titans at the store you can use. But I'm curious on what the play is like and how simple or complex it is, because that would. But there are people out there that will make a homebrew for this version of the game to include like orcs and Eldar, things like that.
Oh yeah,
because they were around. It's not that they weren't around. So, but yeah, and then that's really the only thing that stood out for me for looking at the little guys, the little contemptors. So we'll see how much support it gets.
even in small, I still serve.
I like that meme actually. That's a good one.
But yeah, so I think that's all we got. We ended on a small note. Anything else? I don't think there's any questions. I don't think we got any questions. Yeah, and like one of the listeners is saying they because of Epic, they're shutting down Aeronautica, which nobody played with anyway. So.
Right.
So hopefully some people can find them cheap at their local store before they sell out or get sent back. Any other questions in the chat?
I don't think so.
Only comment in Patreon was they want the telenovela version of Thomas Sanchez Villalobos Ramirez, which made me laugh only because of your wife's maiden name, John. Which is Ramirez.
That's still her last name. She didn't take mine.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. She didn't change her name.
Oh, okay. She didn't add it on?
No, because she was like, I can go through the effort of changing my last name. And I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work. I don't care.
My wife did it. It was a lot of work. And I almost was like, babe, you don't have to do this. She's like, no, I want it. This is just really annoying. And I was like, all right.
Yeah. No, it is full on, like, annoying, ridiculous process.
My wife changed hers, and at this point in our marriage, I can now tell her she's been a Solis longer than she's been a Torres. She gets mad.
That's funny. See, no, that's kind of funny.
Oh, real quick, I just want to confirm that my daughter loves me. Mainly because on the cruise we went on last week, she went out every night on the cruise, but one night she went out and she came back noisily opening the door, tripping over, yelling out, "I love you guys," and then passed out. So I told my wife she takes after her mom.
Nice.
So I just thought that was a funny story to tell. And now I always say it to her, and she just gets mad also. But trip was nice. Next big trip for me is going to Mexico for like a week and a half. I did get to see the security checkpoints while on the cruise, so that was interesting. But that's about it. No other questions. We're not going to tell the story about Tomas, either one.
I still have no idea what that is either. So
a telenovela?
Well, I know what a telenovela is. I grew up in Phoenix. No, what I don't know is I what
What
this has to do
Tomas
with
means?
me. No, I know what Tomas. Oh my god. I'm assuming this is about me somehow.
Because I wrote in the question if we're going to get Tom and Otro Tom on the show at the same time.
That's true.
Mm.
Good point.
Which we did, because Danny's not here.
Sure. Why not?
Well, I still have to do the count, John.
What's the count?
Who's been on more, you or Tom?
I mean, I'll probably always win that one eventually.
Well, I mean, said the tortoise to the hare, except I'm the tortoise saying that to you now because I win.
John playing the long game over here.
Mm-hmm.
We're already halfway through the year. More than half.
Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're-
It's July. We just had 4th of July a couple days ago. Barbecue, fireworks, all the good stuff.
hands being blown off, etc.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
Good time. So, like I mentioned, we have Hammer Wrath coming up. Make sure to check it out. John has Tacoma.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about it when I get
If
back.
you happen to see him, say hi. I won't. Crossing my fingers. So far, I don't have to go to LSO because Jason Horn will be there. But I will be on call in case anything happens. And I hope nothing happens, unlike last year.
Yeah, hopefully nothing happens, right? I'm sure it'll be fine.
Tom will be at almost every Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And going to Hammer.
Who am I playing next
Going to
Tuesday?
Hammer. I don't know. I'll actually be there, so.
Ah, I'll play you.
Alright, I have to find my stuff. I have to find my predators.
What? What's a
My
predator?
predators. I put my predators away after 7th edition.
I don't even know what a predator is anymore.
I don't know. It's something that dies the nights. From what I hear.
Good, because I'll be playing my knights. So
All right, maybe I'll bring I guess I'll bring a knight, allied knight.
boo. Oh, it's harder for chaos to bring one, I think. No, it's harder for chaos knights to ally in, but it's easier for other chaos to ally in a chaos knight. If I remember
Wait,
correctly.
what?
Yeah, it was in one of the
Wait,
chaos
it's
knight
harder
groups.
it's
Somebody was
harder
like,
to ally into chaos knights. You're saying?
right. But
Oh.
you can ally a chaos knight into a chaos list, I think.
Yeah,
Easy.
it's only up to 500 points.
Right. But I don't think chaos knight players can ally in anybody into chaos knights.
I'm just waiting for Danny to do his Warhound list.
No.
Oh my god.
Don't encourage
Sounds
this
pretty
nonsense.
I'm surprised he can fit that much in.
I am too.
I am also quite shocked.
Yeah. Like I said, I was
Alright.
tempted for a second, but I'm not going to build a Warhound Titan. It's not going to happen.
It's fine.
Yes.
We'll just break it.
Yes. Or just kid will break it.
So I think that's it. Tom. Sponsors. Don't forget Hammerhead Games. Go to hammerheadgames.net. We have all the new stuff. If you saw Tony's throne of Leviathan box.
That was a great photo.
Hilarious.
I love that photo. It was a good one.
We also, longtime sponsor. We also have Gameology. Just go to gameologygames.com. Check out what they have available. They actually sold all of their boxes, and they had over 100 of them. So
Nice.
I know I bought one.
We
I
got
think
one
Danny
from
bought
there.
5 or 6. I don't know. It seems like it sometimes.
Yeah, Danny just dropping a cool G.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
check them out. If you happen to be in Old Town Pasadena, check out the store. It's a nice location. A lot of shops nearby, a lot of food, and alcohol.
Yes.
One of our newer sponsors is the Hobby Goblins. Just go to just check the link in the show notes or link in the description and go to hobbygoblins.com. They actually help make props and will paint them for you and put them together. They provide the prizes for all of the FLG events. And you saw some of the pictures from ACO. You see how good they look. So just give them a call. And I believe that is it. Tom, any parting words? We'll probably do a show on Wednesday before you leave, John.
Yeah, that would be best.
because Tuesday nights are normal 40K night.
Yeah, and Thursday is not going to work.
Parting words. Sternguard look cool.
All right.
I could have said
John.
something way stupider. Okay.
You could.
Well,
It's true.
you're pretty close. John,
Last words?
any words of wisdom? Any
My words of wisdom?
for all those players? Yeah,
My
for
words
all
of
those
wisdom
people.
are towering is not the problem you think it is.
Problems. Just look in the mirror.
I was about to say, yeah.
That's not incorrect.
I'm just saying. Well, thank you everybody for listening. As always, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Good night, and have a pleasant